Judge Gull goes over more decorum, including seating for the trial. Let's get into it. State of Indiana versus Richard M. Allen. Courthouse Management and Decorum Order. This case has generated substantial public interest and media attention. In light of this interest, the court has set forth rules of conduct and guidelines designed to govern the expectations of the people involved in the trial and those observing the trial so that the decorum of an open court will be maintained throughout the proceedings. The purpose of this order is to secure defendants' constitutional rights to a fair and impartial jury while permitting the public and the press to exercise their First Amendment rights. In addition, the order protects the identity of jurors. Pursuant to the court's inherent authority to assure the proper administration of justice, it is therefore ordered that the following rules are in effect. The court may rescind or modify the order at any time. Any person or organization who violates this order will be subject to the discipline of the court, including contempt and permanent exclusion from the courtroom. The schedules are tentative and can be modified daily. The judge invites media representatives to meet with her and counsel for record on October 17, 2024 at 3 p.m. in the Carroll Circuit Court at Carroll County Courthouse to discuss this order. At the conclusion of the meeting, video and/or still photographs of the interior of the courtroom may be obtained for media use as B-roll or stock photographs. Jury selection is scheduled to begin October 14, 2024 and last through October 16, 2024 in Allen Superior Court. The trial is scheduled to begin October 17, 2024 and last through November 15, 2024. All sessions are scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. and conclude at approximately 6 p.m. There will be a recess for lunch and brief recess in the mornings and afternoon. Security. Security during these proceedings shall be provided by the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. All persons entering the Carroll County Courthouse shall be subject to standard security protocols. The Sheriff of Allen County Civil Division officers will provide security in the courtroom and attend the jury. Upon entering the courthouse, all media representatives shall identify themselves and produce appropriate identification, photo preferred. All requests for credentials must be made to George I. James via email and 260-449-7216 by noon on October 10, 2024. Any person requesting a media credential must be prepared to present credentials identifying the person as a member of a recognized media organization. Credentials shall be valid for entry to the courtroom during the trial unless they are rescinded by court order. Media should be prepared to display credentials at any time during the proceedings. Credentials will be assigned to the media organization as opposed to a specific individual in the organization. Credentials may be obtained October 11, 2024 at 2 p.m. from George I. James. Access to the courtroom. The bailiff will allow entrance to the courtroom beginning at 8:30 a.m. Once a court session begins, distractions will not be allowed. Specifically, the bailiff will only allow entrance and exit during designated breaks in the trial or when the witness is entering and exiting the witness stand. If a person chooses to leave the courtroom during a court session, he or she shall not be allowed to re-enter the courtroom until the next break in the proceedings. Seating. All persons must be seated during proceedings. There will be no standing except for court security and bailiff officers. No person will be admitted unless there is adequate seating. There will be designated seating areas for counsel, parties, families, and credentialed media. The defense will be allocated 10 seats. The prosecution will be allocated 10 seats. The families will be allocated 20 seats. The credentialed media will be allocated 12 seats, and there are 8 for television, 2 for radio, 2 for newspaper, and the general public will be allocated the balance of the seats in the courtroom. If the seats are in high demand, media may be limited to one representative from each news organization. During jury selection, there will be a reduced number of seats available to allow seating for all prospective jurors. The court has previously issued a separate order addressing jury selection in Allen Superior Court. All reserved seats will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. Groups will be directed to their respective seating areas. Unoccupied seats in the courtroom may be given to the general public if the court determines it's appropriate in the court's discretion. Any dispute among media, for example, whether one organization network is taking up too many seats, whether a specific individual constitutes media, whether a member of the press has correctly identified their network affiliation, will be decided by the media organizations collectively. If the dispute cannot be resolved by the media and it results in seating issues, the court may employ a blind draw seating arrangement where all the present members of the media place their name in a draw and the court seats press according to the drawn names and the number of media seats available. Jury. Completed questionnaires will be treated as confidential documents pursuant to provisions of Indiana Jury Rule 10. Personal information relating to a juror or prospective juror and not disclosed in open court will be kept confidential, other than for the use of parties and counsel. No party, counsel, or court staff member shall publish or otherwise disclose in any way the name, address, or likeness of any juror or prospective juror in a manner that discloses the identity of that person except for information which is disclosed in open court. Potential and impaneled jurors will be identified only by the juror number. During the trial, the media is directed that no photograph or record of the jurors is allowed, including the jurors' entrance/exit from the courthouse. If jurors are sequestered, this prohibition shall also include travel, dining, and lodging location for the jury, as well as parking and transportation vehicles when the jurors are present. The media shall make no attempt to contact or question prospective or impaneled jurors until the court has discharged the juror. Each excused juror will be provided file-stamped dismissed excused paperwork clearly indicating he or she is no longer a juror. To ensure prospective and impaneled jurors do not overhear media interviews, press interview locations will be restricted. At the end of the trial, the court will ask jurors if they are interested in speaking with the press. The court will facilitate a location inside the courtroom where press will be permitted to interview jurors, if any, who wish to comment. Photography and video in the courtroom prohibited. No still or video photography or audio recording shall be permitted in the Carroll Circuit Courtroom or the courthouse. Any violation shall result in the item being confiscated and erased, and violators and their affiliated organizations are subject to being excluded from the courtroom for the remainder of the trial. Any interception, transmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or dissemination of the audio signal created by the court's audio system is prohibited pursuant to the rules of Indiana Supreme Court. Any voice recognition software used to capture and transcribe courtroom procedure is also prohibited. Still and video photography and audio recordings are permitted only outside the courthouse. All recording equipment is permitted in this area, and that is referring to outside the courthouse. Interviews. Media interviews outside the courthouse building generally are not regulated by this order and are instead subject to administration of the law under the jurisdiction of the Sheriff of Carroll County and the Delphi Police Department. The court must also guard against prospective and impaneled jurors overhearing media broadcast and interviews. To limit the potential exposure to jurors, the court will impose some restrictions as authorized by Indiana Code for Judicial Conduct, Canon 3B13. No interviews or broadcast activities shall take place in the courtroom or adjacent area. Instead, media must conduct interviews outside of the courthouse. All trial counsel are directed to comply and inform their client, staff, and witnesses of the terms of this order regarding interviews. Electronic devices, phones, iPads, laptops, electronic watches, electronic eyeglasses, recording devices. Electronic devices such as laptops, iPads, cell phones, etc. shall not be permitted in the Allen County or Carroll County Courthouse. Members of the press and public shall not use laptop computers, iPads, tablets, Kindles, cellular telephones, pagers, personal digital assistants, cameras, electronic watches, or electronic eyeglasses. No reserved parking spaces are available for the public or the media. Street side parking is regulated by the City of Delphi. Media organizations are welcome to make contact with the Indiana State Police Public Information Officer, Chief Nate Lamar of the Delphi Police Department, Major Tobe Lesenby, or Deputy Mitchell Carlton of the Carroll County Sheriff's Department to discuss accommodations for media satellite trucks, large press vehicles. Any possible accommodations are subject to any restrictions set out by the Indiana State Police, Delphi Police Department, or Carroll County Sheriff's Department. Media contact. Pursuant to the Indiana Code of Judicial Conduct, the judge and other members of the staff of Allen Superior Court or Carroll Circuit Court are unable to respond to requests for the comments or interviews at any time. All concerns and questions for media representatives should be directed to the court. Dated September 30th, 2024. Signed, Francis C. Gull, Special Judge, Carroll Circuit Court, Carroll County, Indiana. And now you're up to date for the Richard Allen trial for all the rules and regulations. We'll see you next time on Deb's True Crime Notebook. Don't forget to subscribe, like, ring the bell for all notifications, share this with your friends, and leave us a comment. We'll see you next time.